Welcome. You're listening to The Radke Show with David and Melissa Radke. Welcome to The Radke Show. I am Melissa Radke. This is
David.
Okay, I wasn't sure, so I needed him to say it. Hi, everybody. Hope y'all are doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You sat down you sat down in your chair in a heavy way. Like you had something going on with you.
No, that's just my bottom.
Hey, what did y'all do this weekend? Hope you had a good weekend. We had the best Friday. And I told David, I said, let's tell them all about it. And he goes, do you think they'll be interested? I said, when have we ever cared if they're going to be interested on this show? So last Wednesday, maybe, we got a text from our close couple friend. They were like, what are y'all doing on Friday? Let's go and hang out and let's drive to Houston. We certainly don't have IMAX movies in Lufkin. And so we were in the mood to see an IMAX movie, a good movie. We didn't even know what was out. And they said, we'll do some other stuff. We'll go out to eat. We'll do some other stuff. So tell them what we did.
Well, we went to I'm going to forget the
the reason I'm saying you tell them what we did and I'm laughing is because remember when we told, don't do that. Remember when we told Rocco and Taylor what we did? Taylor is Rocco's girlfriend. And she goes, oh, it's like you had a kid's birthday party. No, it wasn't like we had a kid's birthday party. We were adults doing this and we loved it.
Was it called Activate?
Activate. No. I think so. These interactive games that you can go to.
And it's actually really fun. Like the video is on the three walls around you and you put this little thing on your head so it senses where you're at. And
we played Squid Games.
We played Squid Games. So I had never seen Squid Games. I felt like that gave me a disadvantage.
That is his big moral high ground. By the way, anybody who mentions Squid Games, he is so quick to say, I've actually never watched it. That is some type of moral high ground he has. Let him have it. Everybody right now say, that is so good of you, David. That is so good.
I don't really think not watching Squid Games is good or bad. I just haven't watched it.
But then why did you laugh?
No.
Then why did you laugh when I said that? Because
I've not watched, what is it, Love Island?
I haven't watched that either.
And
high five for us still going to heaven.
I do feel like that's more like
that for sure is a more.
I don't know. I have seen some clips that it doesn't seem good, but who knows?
Anyway, they picked us up. First thing we did was we stopped by this little coffee shop in Lufkin that David and I never go to because it's downtown and we're rarely downtown. And Jeremy said, you've got to go. We're going to go in and we're going to get a dirty soda to drink on the way to Houston. Holy cow. Y'all know my love. If you follow me online and Insta, Facebook, all that, you know my love, absolute affinity for dirty sodas right now. Like I am a bit addicted. So we're talking the Dr. Pepper.
She loves the dirty.
Hey, David. No, sir. Dr. Pepper mixed with, and I'm a Coke girl. But you want Dr. Pepper. Don't ask me why. It just works better. It just does.
Dirty Dr. Pepper.
David, stop doing that with the camera. Mix it with a little coconut cream. Mix it with a little vanilla. We'll shake it up. Give a little fuzz on the top.
No, ma'am.
Turn it off of you, then. Okay? You're like a court jester sitting over there wanting to know when you can add something. Anyway, we went to this downtown coffee shop and David and Jeremy went in and they got the dirty Dr. Pepper with peach. They got Janet and I dirty Dr. Pepper with strawberry. Y'all, if you even live in this vicinity.
It was very good.
It is so good. So good. Then we go to Houston. We went and had Mexican food. You know we are. We like
it.
I want to know why you're doing that today.
I don't know.
Why you're putting an A at the end of all your words. She liked the dirty, the Dr. Pepper. I mean, why are you doing that, babe?
Maybe my evangelical hair. But funny story, the place we ate Mexican food is incredible. Not going to say the name of it because of this story, but it's incredible. And they took care of us after this story. But the first
Here we go.
time
This story, David loves to tell it. I love to tell it as well.
I don't know if y'all can go back with
Go
me.
back. You got
Go
to close
back
your
with
eyes
me.
and go
Close
back.
your eyes and go back to COVID. And what was it? It felt
It
like
was-
6 to 8,
I'm gonna
9 months.
I'm gonna give you music underneath it to set the tone for what you're wanting them to go back to.
So, we had been in COVID for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. We were in lockdown, and it was our first time to get out. Just a few things were open. Even here in Texas, it was still early on. And we went to this particular Mexican restaurant. Was there one other person there was like nobody in the restaurant.
It was me and you, maybe 2 servers, and then like one. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. One child abductor at the back, eating by himself, fake mustache on. I don't know what's going on there.
But anyway, so the food was incredible. But as Melissa always does, she get into it.
Okay. I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube. We're going to stop the camera for a second. Move your mic away from your mouth. Move your mic away from your mouth. You will not, under any circumstances, use the phrase, she'll get into it. When you're talking about me eating food, David.
But you were down into the second level of the refried beans.
There's no levels on refried beans.
The way you
probably was just on the first bite.
The way you were digging into it there.
You're hacking me off.
Anyway, she discovered it didn't go in your mouth, did it?
David, I chewed it up and didn't know what it was and spit it in my hand.
Okay, so she did. She took the bite and went, and it was the tip. We'll be back after these. It was just the tip. It was just the tip of a rubber glove, like a black glove, like a black cooking glove
that the chefs use when they're cutting up onions and stuff. And it just so happened that their kitchen is open to the public. Like you can look back there, and I think I saw a guy going like this.
Or was it like that? So anyway, we did say something. They were very nice. I can't remember if they took care of the meal. Either way, they probably took care of the meal, but then they also.
You don't remember what happened? That the manager said, we want to take 10% off of your meal. And I said, I think there's a good chance I'm going to die. So we're going to get this meal for free.
But they ended up giving us a gift card where we got to go a few times. And
your big fix was when they sent you a pie. Okay, they sent us a whole pie. And David's like, they have nothing else left to do to make this right. Anyway, we ended up seeing Superman, and I liked it. It's been out for a little while, but I liked Superman.
It was good. I'm not as big of a DC. All I really think of is Superman, Batman,
Wonder Woman.
Oh. Okay, maybe I do like DC.
He's Marvel.
But I like Marvel. I like Marvel better.
I actually do not like anything Marvel at all.
It was good.
I like Superman,
and it was neat because we got to see it on the.
An interesting little tidbit here. Do you remember? Okay, this is something that my husband does that drives me absolutely crazy, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Marriage is looking at the other person and saying, "Where have we seen them in? What have we seen them in? What have I seen her in before?"
And you do just
1 million times until you
do
die.
just as much to me.
So the guy that plays Superman, you kept saying, what have we seen him in? While we're sitting in the dark, and I have to get on my phone and look it up or he won't shut up about it.
I don't think I've ever seen him.
You have.
Really?
I don't even know if you will remember this. You loved the movie Twister, the new one with the weird looking guy with the skinny face, and he smiles and women like him. What's his name? I don't like him. I don't care for him.
I like it. He's a Texan.
He's a Texas guy.
Glenn
Powell.
Yeah.
Superman played the really smart weather guy that was kind of a jerk to everybody. Tall, black hair, kind of handsome, but he was a jerk to Glenn Powell. He was always wanting to one-up him. Like that. Yeah, that was him. Anyway, so we did that. We had a lot of fun. But let me bring the room down for a minute now. That was on Friday. On Saturday, my parents had told me for the week or two before, that my cousin was coming in town, who lived out of town, and was coming in town, and they wanted me and David to stop by and see him and his wife and their kids. Now, I'm just going to be totally honest. This is a cousin who lives not super far out of town, but enough that we never see him. I had not seen my cousin in 30 years. I believe that I have not seen him since just before David and I got married. We've been married almost 31 years. So that was a huge deal for me. In a really strange way, and I'm about to share something with y'all about my personality, and I'm wondering if you're this way. I'm wondering if David's this way. I'll ask him this in a second. I absolutely obsessed. I'm telling you, obsessed about that visit. I worried, what if they're weird? What if they think we're weird? What if we have absolutely nothing in common? What if we haven't seen each other since childhood and he's lost an arm and he's only got a nub and he tries to hug me with it?
What if he has a black glove, but it's missing the tip?
What if you don't know what he's going to come in with? What if his wife has lost the majority of her teeth, but has like one and it's got a gold cap on it? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to go on.
But she got plenty of facial hair.
That sounded like you said, but she has plenty of facial hair.
I was painting the description of what you were saying, not the actual person we got to meet.
I know, but the way you said it, it sounded like you were saying his wife has plenty of facial hair.
No, she ain't got no facial hair.
She ain't got no facial hair. That's my cousin you're talking about.
She ain't got no more than you do.
It was just I obsessed about it. And I ended up telling my parents that, like, I worried myself sick. I knew we were supposed to go over on Saturday, but I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. You know, I'm not a person who likes to do one-on-one lunches anyway. Not that this was going to be one-on-one, but I kept thinking there need to be other people there. It can't just be my parents and my cousin and his wife and me and David. Like, there need to be other people there. We need to invite a lot of people over. That way it's never awkward. And I work myself up into these tizzies that I'm not going to be enough. My personality is not going to be enough. Okay, let's go back to a joint shot now, because that really is an issue for me. And I know that, but I really obsessed about that Saturday. You, on the other hand, did you even think about it one time?
No, I'm a man of the people. I like everybody. Everybody tends to like me.
That's true. He didn't worry about it one time. I laid in my bed.
But it also wasn't my family. Even when we get to see one of my family members we hadn't seen in a long time, I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel overwhelmed by it.
We've gone and met your family before out of town at a restaurant when it was just going to be a few of us. Like, it was me and you, and we took your mom, and we met like 3 other women from your family. I completely obsessed about it. Got there. Those women never took a breath talking, nor did I. Okay.
And you
I had more to talk about to them than I do some of my girlfriends. What?
And you'd seen them recently. I mean, not like last week, but I mean, it hadn't been that long since you'd seen them.
But the point is, I tend to work myself up into these things. You know that about me.
Well, in all fairness, people either love you or maybe not so much. So maybe I see that little tension.
Yeah, I can be a lot for people, and I don't ever know where I'm going to fall on the spectrum. So then I just work myself up. Also, I'm a lot like my mom and my granny. If there is even a moment of what even appears like there might be a pause in the conversation or silence, I will give you my PIN code, my blood type. I will tell you about all of the sexual escapades I never, ever had. I will just reveal information that nobody asked for because I have to fill up the silence.
It is a good thing that your grandmother, your mother, or yourself never had to go into witness protection.
Oh, it would have never.
Because if there was a moment of silence, you know, I'm a witness protection. You know, I testified against Gotti.
You know, I should be living in Texas with the last name Radke. Anyway, I worked myself up for nothing because it ended up being an absolute, really I guess the best way I can describe it is like I did to my parents. Okay, well, that's a family member that I'd never realized I definitely want to have in my life. You know, him and his wife, who she was so easy to talk to and get along with. They had two of the cutest kids I've ever seen. I mean, the kids were great and well behaved. And I just walked away from there going, wow, there's some family members that you don't see for 30 years. And when you hug them by, you're like, it'll be another 30. And then there are some you hug them by and you think,
I sure hope it's not.
I don't want it to be another 3 months, And what a pleasant surprise it was. So it was really a great weekend. But we're not done talking about family issues and all that.
Can we tell them the little tidbit of funny from that weekend? I mean, from the family?
Yes. It was crazy. Yes, you can tell them.
So we're sitting around talking, and her cousin's wife said, actually, I have followed you for a long time. When one of your first videos, kind of blew up and went viral, I followed you. I thought
she
you were
said
funny.
Red Ribbon Week, which was the first video. So let's say her name is Sarah. Sarah said, I've been watching you since back then, which was the original, like that got everything started.
So she had watched, and she had even showed her husband a few times, look at this lady,
Yes, Sarah's husband is my cousin.
Is her cousin. They had, laughed and whatever. And so I think it's when the television show was coming out, she had told him, that afternoon, the TV's mine. That lady I follow, her television show's coming on tonight. It's premiering. I'm going to have the TV. You're going to have to put on your headphones and work over there. And so he said, okay. So he sat over there and had on headphones. And I actually do this quite a bit, had one on and one off so he could hear if she said something. So the show comes on.
And he said to her, but what are you watching? And she said, the lady I follow. And he's like, oh, Lord, the lady you follow with the big mouth. And she's like, yes, the lady I follow has a TV show and I want to support her and I want to watch it. He's like, okay.
So she sits down to watch it. Her husband's over there working. And all of a sudden he goes, what are you watching? And she said, I told you I'm watching that lady. He goes, rewind that. So she rewound it. He goes, I just heard my Aunt Annette laugh.
My Aunt Annette.
That's her mom. They rewound it and he went, that's my aunt. That's my Uncle Gene. And at that moment, after his wife following for several years, they realized
she said, shut up. You're just being stupid. And he said, do you follow my cousin Melissa? People follow my cousin. Why does my cousin Melissa have a TV show? She goes, she's the lady that I have shown you. And he keep in mind, this man and I spent every single Christmas together the first 19 years of my life. Okay? But he didn't even realize it was me. It was absolutely crazy. He fell over laughing when he realized it.
It was, we talked about that. It was out of context.
Yeah.
And you had a different last name,
Right. And that's what threw him.
That was part of it. But I actually thought that was really funny that she got to reintroduce you to your.
I actually signed her book for her, Chicken Fried Women. We had a book for her and I signed it and I said, Sarah, thanks so much for reintroducing me to my idiot cousin who I've known since I was one. We are literally 10 months apart. Okay. But it had been a little bit of time. So anyway, it was a great weekend.
Speaking of Chicken Fried Women, we'll be right back after these messages. The Radke Show is being brought to you today by Melissa's new book, Chicken Fried Women: Friendship, Kinship, and the Women Who Made Us This Way. This book is a love letter to the Southern women who raised Melissa, scolded Melissa, and taught her how to make gossip sound like a prayer request. It's her most hilarious book yet, and it's available right now wherever books are sold. All right, back to the show.
All right, we're back, and we are talking a little bit today about family, discovering some family of mine that I haven't seen in a very long time. And it reminded me of, okay, David, I know you're not into pop culture quite like I am, but I just recently saw where Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, who, by the way, the day they got divorced, announced their divorce, I publicly grieved. I grieved because I thought she was so good for him. Where they all, with their kids and everything, went to a Red Sox game the other day. And immediately people are like, oh, I hope she doesn't get back with him. And he's had trouble. He's had like alcohol problems and all this. And she's so great. And she doesn't need that to be weighed down by that. But one of the things that you and I have never had to experience is the continuation of co-parenting and what that must be like. I mean,
sometimes it's hard enough to parent,
much less
co-parent.
co-parent.
I mean, that's kind of like going to the second level of the refried beans. That's like getting down in it.
If you ever want to know what co-parenting is like, say that one more time. So people are new to us and they're like, I think she's really mad. And you would be right. But I don't know how some of you do it. There's actually a woman on TikTok. I don't know her name. And she really talks a lot about that. She has a very, very, not just an amicable relationship with her ex-husband, but a really great friendship with the new stepmom of her that her children have. And she said, am I going to go out and get coffee with her? Absolutely not. But if she called and needed something, she needed to talk to me about something, would I go and have coffee with in a heartbeat? I call her, I take the kids over and we talk for 30 minutes until he comes outside and is like, okay, you two, okay. Like, I think that must be incredibly difficult. And I know some of you are doing it right now and you're doing it successfully, but some of you are doing it right now and you're doing it very unsuccessfully. And I don't need to point out which is which, and I realize that must be hard.
Well, yeah, because we don't personally know that situation, obviously, but also one of the people may be trying to do it right.
Yeah.
But the other one isn't. Or maybe it's one of those things when one is trying, the other one isn't. When they're trying, the other one, I mean, so there's just so many moving parts to all that kind of stuff. And then the kids and jobs and in-laws and all that kind of stuff. So
we have a friend in Nashville who I actually sang at her wedding, and this was her third marriage. And she married a guy who was a widower. And she felt so incredibly lucky to have found him because she felt like such a loser in love, and you have to combine, first of all, his, mine, and ours kind of thing with the children. But then you also have these ex-husbands who were a part of this package. You also have children from his marriage who've lost a mom and they're grieving. And now you have to add them in. She always called their family swirled. They were a swirled family. And I always really liked that. I don't think she came up with that, I'm sure, but I liked the thought of that because when you go to the ice cream, like when we go and leave Del Rio Mexican restaurant here in Lufkin, you can get ice cream cone, you can get chocolate or vanilla or swirl. And it all goes together and it's all complementary to each other. And so I always liked the idea of calling it that, the swirled family. But look,
you sprinkle a few nuts on the top and you got it all.
But here's the deal. The reason I even bring up poor Benifer. I'm sure they're not getting back together. I think she's actually very happy with.
I'm sorry. I thought Benifer was him and J-Lo.
Well, it was, but then he started marrying Jennifer Garner and they became Benifer, and then it's
Benifer 2.0.
Yeah. But the reason I even bring that up is because we're talking about families today. And even though David and I may not have any experience in swirled families or co-parenting, we do have experience in what happens when you bring families together. When David and I got married, I was nothing like his family. And he was nothing like mine. And there were so many times that I was like, is this going to work? Because when we first got married, what did I do every weekend? And it just drove you crazy.
Oh, you would just go. We lived in Dallas about 3 hours away, 2.5 hours away, and you just leave and come home. Now, part of the reason is
home, meaning I would leave and come back.
I'm sorry, back to to actually this home, which is kind of weird. But I was working, I was waiting tables, and so I had to work every weekend, and so you were like, "Well, you're going to be working, so I'm going to take off."
Which made you a bit resentful of my family, that I was so drawn to them. I think if I could go back and redo. The interesting part of that for me is I have said several times, if I could go back and redo that, I obviously would not leave and drive home 3 hours to see my family every weekend and leave him by himself. I wouldn't do it. I would redo it and I would be there for him. But I was so lonely and I was living in this big apartment complex and he waited tables at night. So he was gone from 6 to 3 in the morning. And I was all alone and I didn't know anybody. So there are parts of me that always wanted you to kind of understand that,
Okay.
but I still wouldn't redo it.
First of all, just let me clarify. It wasn't 3 in the morning because they're like, what do you do after you got off work?
You work in downtown Dallas. Yes, it was. It was like,
well, it might be 1 o'clock. Like I might work till 11 and then have to close up. And then, but 3 o'clock's like, well, where was he at all? I just thought that was a little bit of a stretch.
I'm just saying, some of you are watching, and when it comes to integrating families, David and I know what to do and what not to do. That is for sure. I think that after 30 years of marriage, we have gotten that right. But we have gotten that right based off of many years of getting
over a long time. Yeah.
Many years of getting that wrong. So on that topic, how do you think I've done integrating to your family? I think it's taken longer for me to integrate well into yours than for you to integrate into mine.
Yeah. And
you're with mine more.
Right. What's the saying? A son's a son until he takes a wife, but a daughter's a daughter.
All of her life.
So that's not every situation, but a lot of situations, or more than the opposite. You do kind of gravitate toward the girl's family. I mean, that kind of naturally had that pull that way. And then, of course, when we moved and we lived in Nashville for so long, we weren't really close to either one of them.
We only had each other. And I got to tell you, that was a big benefit. That was a huge benefit.
But then I would say the thing I do regret was when we were in Nashville, especially the early years, our families are both in Texas, but they're not like close,
6 hours apart.
So it wasn't really easy to go, okay, we're going to go here this day. So most of the time we'd do one for Thanksgiving or one for Christmas or those kind of things. Looking back, it felt like a little heavy on your family.
But you knew the saying, a daughter's a daughter for all of her life. You knew going into it.
So and it was just a process. My family was quiet in general. I guess you'd say our house was quiet. My dad's pretty outgoing and picking and jovial and all that kind of stuff.
But at our house, it's a different all the time.
It's a different volume level. It's a different type, maybe a harsher picking, and it was a different thing to.
We're not harsh when we pick on each other. People think I'm harsh with David. They're like, you talk to him so bad. I talk to him like I love him. That's how my family talks to everybody. Yeah, I do agree. It was certainly heavier on my side being with family. And if you're watching this and you are relatively newly married, heck, you can be around our age and be newly married. You know what I mean? Maybe be equal on that. I regret that I wasn't quite equal on that. I will say for the record, I don't ever remember you saying to me, I'd like to go to my parents for the holidays, and me going, no, I never did that.
No, I didn't feel that.
You were just more like, where are we going?
It was trying to figure out how made it work. And again, between jobs and school and then law school and then being on the road, I mean, it gets difficult.
And that really goes now into us. I know some of you are like, wait. Why would you have a cousin you haven't seen in 30 years? Well, it's funny that you should ask because it really goes into that. My dad, this cousin I haven't seen on my dad's side. And my dad, much like David, was just pulled heavy toward his wife's side of the family. So my dad is very close to my mom's side of the family. We have a lot of family. We're really rambunctious. My dad's got tons of nieces and nephews, but he's got another side. He's got his side of the family. And so some distance had happened there. Was there ever any like weirdness between me and that cousin I hadn't seen? Never. And I think that's what was so, even up to my dad, even after they left this weekend, my dad was like, I've missed him. And it was just because we did not feed and water that side of the family.
Yeah.
I'm actually so glad that my mother-in-law now lives in my backyard because we can feed and water what we hadn't for so long. And I don't want that to happen to any of you.
You were talking about that, your dad, and I just realized my mom was the exact opposite. My mom was an only child, and she moved from Portland or California. When she came to college. Mm-hmm. And at the time, her mom wasn't here yet. And so she kind of became part of his family. And actually, one of his sisters, there was a distance of physical distance between them, but I mean, the best of friends, you know? So I guess every situation's a little bit.
It just hurts me in some marriages to see a woman who says, no, we're just going to be with mine. I cannot stand your family. I don't like them. They don't like me. We're not doing it. I always hate to see that kind of division. I hate to see it the other way too, where the man's like, I'm sorry, go be with your family if you want to, but I'm going to hang out with mine. We like to fish. We like to do this. I don't want it to be so heavy-handed. And as someone who's been married 30 years, I can give you a little piece of advice and say, nobody lives forever, right? So his dad has passed. It kills me that there are holidays we won't spend with him again. And as much as I want Remy and Rocco to spend every holiday with us, eventually I'll have to share them. And I want my kids to share, be good sharers.
You know, one thing we've talked about before, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future, is, you know, our goal a long time ago began trying, I mean, not in the rough patches of our marriage, this is how our marriage got better, was trying to outserve the other one. So trying to do more for her than she did for me and vice versa. And when you do that and you're trying to, well, no, we need to go here, we need to go there, it just makes a big difference. And, you know, I know at the time it feels like you don't have much time and it's so overwhelming, and you know, we are so busy and we're so crazed. We've seen this with Remy, you know, graduating and going off to college. How did you say it the other day? And maybe you've heard it somewhere. The days drag on.
Slow, but the years are fast.
Yeah, the days are slow, but the years are fast. So, man, it's a lunch, it's a Christmas party, it's a this, it's that. I mean, it just goes by so fast. And even if it's a little awkward, even if it's a little tense, even if you don't have as much fun, you know, so
it's still worth it. And we'll be back to something fun right after this.
The Radke Show is being brought to you today by Melissa's new book, Chicken Fried Women: Friendship, Kinship, and the Women Who Made Us This Way. This book is a love letter to the Southern women who raised Melissa, scolded Melissa, and taught her how to make gossip sound like a prayer request. It's her most hilarious book yet, and it's available right now wherever books are sold. All right, back to the show.
Okay, you guys, I saw this the other day. I saw it on an Instagram reel or something. I don't remember. And I laughed so hard. So I'm going to set up a scenario right now. You need to do this with your spouse. David, the detectives from Law and Order have just come in and told you that they found my body. And you are shocked. And you're like, how do you know it's her? How do you know? They said, sir, we're 99% sure it's her. Okay. But we need you to tell us what is something without seeing her body that you could make it known to us. Did you know what she was wearing that day? What can you say to us without seeing her body that would identify her as our victim? Without seeing me, David.
So they see you, but I don't see you.
Right. So it would be like a husband on a Law and Order going, when she left this morning, she was wearing a plaid sweater. And then they go, yes, so that was her. When she left this morning, when our little girl left, she was on roller skates with 2 braids in her hair. Yes, sir, it was her. What would you say?
Well, my first question would be, was it a body or a bidet? So that would be my first question.
David has always thought when he takes the word body and says bidet, that it is so funny. He makes himself laugh so hard. So you would say, is it a dead body or is it a dead body? And if they said, yes, sir, they're loosening their tie. It's a dead body. That's my girl.
I would like, since you evidently don't think it's funny, I'd like to see if you think it's funny. So would you comment below? What is it? B-O-D-A-Y.
Actually, it would be B-O-D-A-A-A-Y.
Bidet. So if you think it's funny, well, let us see.
David, what would you say to the police?
The first one I would say, you told me 2?
I want you to do just one right now, and then I've got one.
Okay. The first one I would say, was she playing a game on her phone or iPad?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
she had an iPad and she was going like this right before she died. Okay, that's good. I would say, was the body still asking questions? Like everything was dead, but the mouth was still going. Tell me this. Where have I seen him at? What have I seen him in before? Do you know how long we're going to be there? Do you know? Just was the body's? Yes, actually, ma'am. It was very weird. All the brain signals had stopped, but his mouth was still moving and asking questions. That's what I would say.
That's my man.
Okay, one more.
Did she die opening an Amazon package? And that's my girl.
Okay. By any chance, were his hands in a position where he might have been playing his belly as a bass guitar? I'm sorry, ma'am. You will know it's David if his hands were playing his belly like it was a bass guitar. Yes, ma'am. Actually, his shirt was pulled up halfway and it looked like he'd been slapping that thing. Then yes, that's my man. Okay, y'all need to go home and you need to ask your spouse or your loved ones what they would say. I have to give you props for that. Asking them if I was playing Candy Crush. It's pretty darn good. Hey, we want to make sure that you are liking and subscribing our show. Y'all, that really, really matters. It helps us gain traction. So make sure that you like and subscribe, because I told David the other day, what if we just up on a Wednesday want to do one? What if something happens in our world and we want to just do one to talk about it? You won't even know if you've not subscribed. I'm going to tell y'all something. You can't stop me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might do an extra. So you've got to make sure that you're liking and that you are subscribed to the show.
Wherever you listen to your podcast, if it's on Apple Podcast, if it's on Spotify,
or you're watching us on the dadgum YouTube
it's
page.
all over the place, or YouTube or anywhere else. Be sure to subscribe and like. And hey, leave us a review.
That's right. I was first.
If you can count to 5. If you can't count to 5, maybe don't leave a review.
Then that means you could only give like 2-3 stars. We want 5 stars.
So
5 stars.
We really enjoy getting to spend a little bit of time with you. Hey, always comment, and we'd love to see what you're thinking, what you'd like us to do more of, maybe what you'd like us to do less of. And if you'd ever want to send an email, you can always send it to melissa@melissaradke.com, and we will absolutely get back to you.
We need to wrap up because I've got a late night phone call with a congressman. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Radke Show. We're going to end now so that you can go and love on your people. Till next time.